outside of the incidents in the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea, what kind of political subversion is the CCP involved in when it comes to what's happening in the Philippines?
Yes, that one has now become a more visible concern. Right now, I mean, in the past couple of days, we've seen this political drama, or is it a political comedy, playing out where a mayor, one of our mayors here, is being investigated by the Senate for links to the offshore gambling operations of China. So basically, they're looking at it as a money laundering front, as well as a base, because these Philippine gambling operations, they're online, so there's a lot of IT involved. They're seeing it as not only a money laundering operation, but also a possible base for conducting hacking operations. And we've had quite a number of attacks lately. Databases have been compromised, like the healthcare database. We've had reports of certain agencies' computer systems being hacked. So they were investigating this, no? And it's turning out that this person, in the course of the Senate investigations, it's turning out that she has no records of. There's a record of birth, but
this is Alice Guo you're talking about.
Yes, Alice Guo. The named parents don't have any records. Her birth certificate was registered 17 years after her supposed birth date, and she's been very evasive in providing details about her life, like where she went to school, where she lived, what was her young life like, things like that. So it's really increased the suspicions on the part of many people here that that's what's happening. There's also political interference and subversion going on even in the local governments. No? So yeah, it's a real concern that aside from what's going on in the South China Sea, there are also actions now being undertaken in Philippine soil to weaken Philippine resolve, no, to essentially subvert the government, no, and keep it from being more actively defending our rights and entitlements. No?
Yeah, I remember in her case, it came out that like she somehow had owned a helicopter, and like the land that this offshore gambling facility was built on. But she sold it.
She claimed that she sold it before it was an offshore gambling operation.
Yeah,
so everything's fine. Yeah,
because it's so weird.
Simple person, but then admits that she has a helicopter and 12 vehicles, including supercars and the latest SUVs.
When do I get my helicopter? Well, so we should bring this up because now you've used it and you used it, Matt. The term the West Philippine Sea. This is something that's being used a lot more instead of just the South China Sea. Can you just tell us what the difference is? Why this is a term being used?
Well, this springs from the Aquino administration. The West Philippine Sea is simply a shorthand term to refer to the waters under Philippine jurisdiction in the South China Sea. So, the South China Sea is the large geographic area. It's just an appellation. It's just a name. It doesn't attribute sovereignty or ownership to anyone, not China. So it's there, but parts of the South China Sea are under the jurisdiction of the surrounding countries because their EEZs and continental shelves are there. So the West Philippine Sea is essentially the portion of the South China Sea over which we have that jurisdiction. It's our EEZ and continental shelf in that area, as well as the waters around the islands, which happen to be outside the EEZ and continental shelf.
So EEZ is your exclusive economic zone. Is that 200 nautical miles?
200.
Offshore?
I mean, this is another interesting example of propaganda warfare. Is not the narrative warfare, maybe, is what I'm talking about, where this is a very important aspect of fighting the Chinese Communist Party, because they want you, obviously, to focus on the military aspect, of which China is a big country and you can't really fight that. Yes. But that there are all these other vectors that you
Yeah.
can attack.
Yes, that one particularly, that was a response to the Chinese claims back in 2013, no, when the tensions flared, no. The argument that they made was simply that, look, it's called South China Sea and therefore it belongs to China, okay, and the world accepts
According to
it.
The Hague.
That was the line of argument. So naturally, the Philippine government had to respond to that, and basically the response is, okay, no, it's the West Philippine Sea. We're claiming the West Philippine Sea.
Are other countries along the South China Sea doing that? Like, is Vietnam calling it the
East Vietnamese Sea.
East Vietnamese Sea?
Yes, they have similar hopes for Vietnam and North Natuna Sea for Indonesia.
Like, I mean, it's absurd that China can just use the name to claim. It'd be like saying that, oh, because it's called Chinatown, it belongs to China.
Don't give them ideas.
We have to call it like Dim Sum Town.
Matt, that was terrible. Okay. I forgot what I was going to ask completely.
We were talking about narrative warfare.
We can't go off the rails when we have a guest
No.
here.
Well, this is maybe a little different topic, but there were headlines this week about the Philippine Coast Guard is opening an outpost in the north of the country that's, the headlines say it's close to Taiwan. Would you say that's accurate? And like, what is the thinking behind that?
Well, most of the Philippines is close to Taiwan in any case.
Yeah, that's true too.
Actually, this is in the Batanes. These are the northernmost islands. I've been there as well. It's a very nice place if you want to visit. You can actually get Taiwanese radio stations when you're there, no, on your radio. But this is part of, again, that reorientation of the Philippines from internal security to external defense. No? Actually, this is already the second major move there. The first one was the establishment of a military outpost on Mavulis Island, which is the one that is really the northern tip of the Batanes Islands. So this is all part of that reorientation. It's trying to increase presence as well as the ability to monitor that area. And the straits between Taiwan and the Philippines happen to be very important. No? They're vital not only for the Philippines and Taiwan, but also for the rest of the world. So I think this is just a natural effect, no, a logical step, no, for the Philippine government if it's serious about beefing up its external defense and really focusing now on defending the country. They have to strengthen these various outposts. No? And there, near Taiwan happens to be one of the most important ones because of of obvious reasons. No, if China were to engage in any hostile action against Taiwan, the Philippines will be the first to be affected, no, because of our proximity in many ways.